I know I had a turning point at one point on my channel. It was right when I was going through a lot of chemotherapy, and somebody made a comment that I looked like a zombie.
Have you had experience as crew on a cruise ship before?
I've never been a crew member. I kind of think I missed my calling. I think I could have been a pretty darn good cruise director with my
It seems like it.
and my love of cruising. Yeah, and I just love to talk to people anyway. So I don't have that shyness in me, if you know what I mean. A lot of people have that shyness. Not a problem for me.
Yeah.
But I talk to everybody that I can. Crew members. Doesn't matter what your position is. I've had 2-hour conversations with the photographer. I've sat at a bar and I don't drink, and we've had sat there for 4 hours and we just shot stories back and forth. So and cruise directors tend to like me as well because I'm always in the front row whenever there's a performance, and they notice me every performance, and then eventually they start up conversations. So
yeah,
it's pretty fun.
Well, yeah, I feel like you're kind of the easy target. For a cruise director, they're always looking for the person they can, hey.
Yeah. Although I'm sneaky when it's a magician or a comedian up there, I kind of try and do this, right? But I've been pulled up on stage a lot.
Sir, can I see your watch? Yeah.
But I'm that guy who will participate in all the like the game shows and all that, if when they're filming it. And yeah, I have no problem with that stuff. I have no filter as far as embarrassing myself. I have no problem with that. So
that's a good quality. I think that's really important to have, especially if you're going to be in entertainment and have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. You definitely have to have a thick skin eventually, right? I know I had a turning point at one point on my channel. It was right when I was going through a lot of chemotherapy. So I had just lost all my hair, and I had all the spots and blemishes on my face, and I was in a real low point, but I was still trying to put out the videos and stuff like that. And somebody made a comment that I looked like a zombie.
Oh no.
And I normally I don't take any of that, but I knew how I looked, right? Because I see it every time I'm editing my own videos. I saw how I looked. And I started thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. And then that poor guy had like 300 people commenting at him, just saying, just going after him, right? And he emailed me, he apologized. He's just some young guy, about 18 years old. Didn't know I had cancer at the time, just thought he was making a snide comment. And he says, I learned my lesson, not to do that. I said, don't worry about it, and everything. But because everyone stuck up for me, it re-inspired me to keep going, right? It was just so heartwarming that all these people who don't even know me were cheering me on and coming to my defense. And it's amazing that that's the type of community you can have on YouTube and that sort of thing, right?
That's one of the things that I really love about YouTube. Speaking of coins, on the other side of the coin, right, from the toxicity part, you'll have these diehard fans. And even if you have one or two, it's so worth it, right? To have those people who are just like, they're always there and they're commenting, and you really feel like you made a connection and an impact with those people. And I'll tell you, like, sometimes I think about like the subscriber to view ratio that I have, and I think to myself, oh, I've got like 5,000 subscribers. How come I'm only getting 200 views? And I start thinking about the numbers, which, by the way, for any of you guys out there, you definitely shouldn't do. But when you start to think about the numbers, you could get a little bit down. And for me, when I think about it, when I think about the people that I'm impacting, it just really lifts me up. I have had those situations where you get those negative people in the comments, or even in a live session where you have negative people in the chat, and it becomes a little overwhelming. Those people in there who just really want to have a genuinely good experience with your content, and they're willing to fight for it. makes me feel great.
Yeah. And as a tip to somebody who went through those growing pains and looking at the numbers and stuff like this, right, when you're starting, when I started mine, it was not so much to have a YouTube channel, but to create clients for me being a travel agent. I wanted people to, this is how they would find me, right? So, but if you notice, I hardly ever mention I'm a travel agent on YouTube. Hardly ever, right? There's no sign underneath saying, contact Don Terris for your travel. There's nothing like that, ever. But what I liked about being when I was, under 1,000 subscribers and that is that I was on those comments every day and I was interacting with everybody. When you are like, I'm just now starting to approach the 100,000, which is blowing my mind that I'm able to get up to that amount of subscribers. But try and answer 3,000 comments on your videos daily. You know what I mean? It's hard because I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have YouTube, I have my travel agency, I have my emails. I get 300 emails a day.
Well, let me ask you something real quick, Don. Would you ever hire somebody to answer the comments for you?
Not the comments. I would hire somebody, like I brought my niece on board now, and I've been training her, and she's doing really well as a travel agent. So eventually I'm hoping that she's just going to take over all the bookings and everything, look after all that side of stuff, and I'll look after the YouTube and talking to fun and doing all the vacations and the trips. The fun stuff of being a travel agent.
Well, the reason I asked is because, you sometimes when influencers, they get to a certain level, it becomes tough for them to actually personally respond to everybody. So they either don't do it or they hire somebody else to do it. So do you think there's ever going to be a point where you would hire somebody to start answering your social media comments for you?
If it would be along the lines of, okay, go in, and if it's just I really like the video, this one, I appreciate this video, then okay, answer it and say yes and that. And then if it's a question or somebody saying something personal, I would want to see that myself.
Right.
I still read a ton of emails. I am not emails so much, but like the comments. I'll read almost all of them every day, but I just don't have time to answer every single one. First of all, the computer slows right down.
Yeah.
The further down, and after you get to around 100, it's just like this. It's just
when you're answering crazy, comment. Man.
And I have a lightning fast computer, and it's just so slow. But yeah,
I know how you do it, man.
People say that all the time, right? You should hire somebody to do your editing. You should hire people to do this kind of stuff, which is great. But that's the stuff that I really love. I love movies, and I've always been interested in screenwriting and stuff like that. So
that's interesting.
Kind of like, this is a dream. Like I can combine my love of travel and my love of movies into one thing.